Hello, Manchester City supporter. Today we have some hot news about Manchester City and what's happening at the club. First of all, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates about the city. Let's start by talking about one of the major highlights at the moment, the arrival of Nico Gonzalez at Manchester City. The Spanish midfielder, who was at FC Porto, was signed for €60 million, with payment made in installments. The City, reigning Premier League champions, was looking for a replacement for Rodri, who was sidelined for a large part of the season due to a knee injury. Initially, other players like Douglas Luiz from Juventus and Ederson from Atalanta were considered, but negotiations didn't progress, leading the club to focus on Gonzalez, who turned out to be an excellent option. The young midfielder, who is only 23 years old, started his football journey in his hometown, A Coruña, where he played for Montañeros. His skills quickly caught attention, and he joined Barcelona's academy in 2013. After a few years, he made his debut for Barca's B team in 2019, and in 2021, he signed a new contract with a release clause of €500 million. After a season on loan at Valencia, Gonzalez moved to FC Porto in 2023 for €8.5 million, with Barcelona keeping a buyback option. During his time at Porto, Gonzalez won 2 titles, the Taça de Portugal and the Supertaça Cândido de Oliveira. Additionally, he was named the best midfielder of the Primeira Liga in December 2024. With 68 appearances for Porto, he scored 9 goals and provided 9 assists. Now, at 23 years old, he has signed a 4.5-year contract with Manchester City, which will keep him at the club until 2029. Gonzalez's arrival is a big step for Manchester City. The player is excited about the opportunity to play under Pep Guardiola's command and has highlighted that City's world-class squad is the perfect environment for his development. He will wear shirt number 14 and could make his debut soon, either in the FA Cup or the Champions League. Now, I want to know your opinion, City supporter. What do you think of the signing of Nico Gonzalez? Do you think he's the missing piece to strengthen our midfield? Leave your opinion in the comments below. But the news doesn't stop there. Jacob Wright, a young talent from City, has been loaned to Norwich City until the end of the season. This move is a great opportunity for Wright to gain more experience and continue his development in football. He has been part of Manchester City's first-team squad since the summer of 2023, and during this time, he has been included in major moments, such as the FIFA Club World Cup in 2023, held in Saudi Arabia. However, despite his progress, chances in the first team have been limited this season. Wright has made only 2 appearances, both in the Carabao Cup against Watford and Tottenham. Due to the strong competition in City's midfield, the loan to Norwich City was the most sensible decision for his development. The Championship club has the option to make the transfer permanent in the summer for €5 million. In an interview, Wright expressed his excitement about the move and said he's looking forward to starting training and becoming part of the Norwich team. Norwich's sporting director, Ben Napper, also spoke about the impact of the signing, praising the midfielder's technical ability and his great potential. The player will wear shirt number 16 and could debut this weekend against Derby County at Carrow Road. And you, City supporter, what do you think of the decision to loan Jacob Wright to Norwich? Was it the best choice for his development, or do you think he should have had more opportunities at City? Leave your opinion in the comments. Now, to close the first part of our analysis today, let's talk about goalkeeper Ederson. He is expected to return to training with Manchester City by the end of the week after missing the 5-1 defeat to Arsenal due to an injury. During Ederson's absence, goalkeeper Stefan Ortega Moreno was the option for Pep Guardiola, and although the choice was reliable in terms of consistency, Ortega's distribution during the game received criticism. City struggled to build play from the back, resulting in mistakes that allowed Arsenal to dominate possession. Although Erling Haaland equalized the game in the second half, the defeat to Arsenal was a tough blow for City's Premier League ambitions. After the setback, the team took a short break from training at the City Football Academy. Reports indicate that Ederson missed the game due to discomfort in his thigh. While his return to training is expected by the end of the week, it is still unclear whether he will be available for the next FA Cup tie against Leyton Orient. This will be an important match as Manchester City looks to continue its journey in the competition and perhaps secure the FA Cup title, which could represent one of the most realistic trophy opportunities this season. Pep Guardiola and his staff know the importance of keeping the team competitive on all fronts, and Ederson's recovery has become a priority for the coach. Supporter, what do you think of Ederson's absence in the game against Arsenal? Do you think his return will make a difference in the upcoming matches? Leave your opinion in the comments below. And the last news today involves prospect Nico O'Reilly, who has been the subject of interest from several clubs, including Chelsea. However, Manchester City rejected Chelsea's proposal to sign the young 19-year-old midfielder. City, having learned from the Cole Palmer case in 2023, is now more cautious about selling promising academy players to Premier League rivals, and made it clear that they would only consider negotiating O'Reilly in exchange for a substantial offer. O'Reilly is considered one of the top young talents at City, and Pep Guardiola has great confidence in his potential. The player has excellent adaptability, able to play various roles in midfield, which makes him a versatile asset in the squad. Guardiola has even praised the youngster, highlighting that he has the qualities of a defensive midfielder, but still doesn't see himself as such. City has shown full commitment to O'Reilly's development, which is why they rejected Chelsea's proposal, as they were unwilling to include a buyback clause in the contract. O'Reilly himself expressed his gratitude for being part of Guardiola's plans, and is eager to show his worth at the club. The Manchester City's firm stance on O'Reilly's future also reflects a crucial point in their long-term strategy. The club has shown a more cautious approach when it comes to negotiating the sale of its young talents, particularly when it involves direct rivals in the Premier League. The transfer of Cole Palmer to Chelsea in 2023 is still fresh in the minds of the City board, and selling O'Reilly to a direct competitor would not be a decision taken lightly. The club wants to ensure that their young athletes are not only well-developed, but also committed to the Manchester City project and not used as mere financial assets for other clubs. Pep Guardiola has paid great attention to O'Reilly's development, highlighting his versatility in midfield and his ability to adapt to different tactical roles. The young player has shown himself to be an important part of the manager's system, capable of playing as a defensive midfielder, central midfielder, and even in more defensive roles. Guardiola has continually praised O'Reilly's technical quality and maturity, stating that he possesses all the characteristics needed to become one of the cornerstones of the team in the future. This demonstrates the trust that Manchester City has in O'Reilly, to the point of rejecting offers from rival clubs. O'Reilly, in turn, has also expressed his enthusiasm for the opportunity to work with the world's best manager. In his recent statements, the young midfielder revealed how much it means to him to have Guardiola's support, stating that it is crucial for his development and his commitment to the club. The love for City runs in his blood, and the chance to play for the team he has always supported is something he deeply values. Additionally, City's vision for the continuation of its young talents reflects a strategic commitment to the future of the club. Rather than selling players without advantageous conditions, City has opted to keep O'Reilly and other young talents, hoping they will grow and become key figures in the first team. This strategy also ensures the club remains competitive even as their more established stars begin to age or seek new challenges. Now, O'Reilly's situation brings us to an interesting point: Manchester City's decisions for the future. The loan of players like Jacob Wright to Norwich City and the investment in developing other academy talents indicate a long-term mentality. City's youth system has been one of the club's strengths, with several players moving up to the first team in recent years, showing that the club is not only interested in bolstering the squad with big stars, but also in nurturing local talent. This not only benefits City financially, but also helps to build an even stronger identity for the team. In the meantime, the upcoming match against Leyton Orient could be an excellent opportunity for players like O'Reilly and other academy members to showcase their quality. The FA Cup has been a fertile ground for young talents to shine, and City should look to use these competitions to give important minutes to those still fighting for their place in the starting lineup. The match against Leyton Orient is also an opportunity to regain confidence after an irregular Premier League season, where City is looking to rediscover stability and good performances. Moreover, Manchester City is keeping an eye on other simultaneous goals, such as securing a place in the decisive stages of the Premier League, where the competition is fiercer than ever. The fight for the top of the table promises to be intense, with big clubs trying to knock City off their leading position. However, the return of key players, such as Ederson, will be crucial for the team's recovery and for strengthening the defense, which has made some critical errors during the absence of the Brazilian goalkeeper. Ederson's recovery is undoubtedly a priority for Guardiola, and his return could bring the stability needed for City to regain their winning form. Regarding Ederson, City has already started preparing for the return of their first-choice goalkeeper. The expectation is that he will be back in training by the end of the week, which is excellent news for the team. His absence in the 5-1 defeat to Arsenal was felt, particularly in terms of ball distribution, one of Ederson's strengths. Although Ortega stepped in admirably, Ederson's absence in the game against Arsenal was a factor that contributed to the difficulty in building play from the back. Throughout the season, Manchester City has found itself in situations where the squad's depth was tested. Rodri's injury, which kept the holding midfielder out for a long period, also led the club to search for alternatives in the market, such as the recent signing of Nico Gonzalez. City's midfield, one of the most critical areas for Guardiola's style of play, was bolstered by the young Spaniard, who arrives with the responsibility of covering the gap left by Rodri. His signing was seen as an opportunity to bring more freshness and youth to the department, especially after Rodri's injury, which kept him off the field for several weeks. Manchester City's success this season will depend heavily on Guardiola's ability to manage the squad, maximize the potential of its young prospects, and ensure that the veterans remain healthy and competitive. Ederson's return to training will be a key step in this process, as will the contributions of new signings, such as Nico Gonzalez, who are already starting to show their worth within the team. With all these factors in mind, the future of Manchester City looks promising, and expectations for the remainder of the season are high. The team is looking for more trophies, and with the right combination of youth and experience, Guardiola can continue to build a team that challenges the best in Europe and the world. As Manchester City continue its journey, one of the keys to its ongoing success is the strong support base that Pep Guardiola enjoys, both from the squad and the club's board. Guardiola's long-term work with young talents has become one of the most notable features of the city in recent years. He has been instrumental in the development of players like Phil Foden, who has become a key figure in the first team, as well as other promising youngsters who have joined the squad. Guardiola's trust in younger players has proven to be a differentiator for the club, creating an environment where healthy competition and continuous growth are encouraged. Manchester City has increasingly become a well-oiled machine in terms of structure, organization, and talent management. As the club's academy continues to produce promising young players, the relationship with the first team is becoming more intense. For example, the decision to loan Jacob Wright to Norwich City aims to ensure he gains the necessary experience to develop as a player, something that will only be possible with consistent game minutes. Like other City players who have had opportunities at smaller clubs to gain more experience, Wright will have the chance to improve in a competitive environment, with the hope of returning to City better prepared. This type of strategic decision is a clear demonstration of how Manchester City positions itself in the current football landscape. The club is not in a rush for its young talents to become stars, but instead works on gradual development so that they can have a solid and sustainable career. The loaning of Wright to a championship club is a crucial step, allowing the player to be more ready for a return to City, where the demands are higher, and although opportunities are limited, they can be extremely rewarding. Speaking of limited opportunities, this leads us to another important point: the impact of injuries on the squad. While Ederson prepares to return to training after his injury, the absence of key players such as Rodri highlighted how much City relies on its strength in midfield to control the tempo of matches. Losing Rodri for a prolonged period was a heavy blow for the team, but the arrival of Nico Gonzalez appears to have been a well-thought-out response from the board. City's midfield, always one of the team's strongest areas, had to be adjusted to compensate for Rodri's absence, and Gonzalez now holds the responsibility of continuing the tradition of excellence in that sector. The signing of Gonzalez is also a reflection of how City has been able to operate in the transfer market. Unlike many clubs that focus solely on big stars, City has proven to be efficient in its negotiations, taking advantage of the opportunities that arise. This was evident in Gonzalez's case, who was acquired for $60 million, a considerable amount, but within a smart negotiation, where City was able to create a feasible installment payment plan for both parties without needing to resort to exorbitant release clauses. This financial balance is one of the most impressive characteristics of Manchester City in recent seasons. The club has been able to spend large amounts, but always with a strategic plan that aims for the long term. Unlike other clubs that try to compete by overspending recklessly, City seems to have absolute control over its finances, ensuring that player spending is aligned with the ambition to win titles and maintain competitiveness. Now, as City progresses in the Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League, expectations around the team are for continued success. Guardiola's campaigns are always marked by a relentless pursuit of perfection, and this is reflected in the team's performances on the pitch. The inclusion of new players such as Gonzalez and the return of athletes like Ederson will strengthen the squad, which has shown consistency but still has room to grow. But beyond the on-field work, Guardiola's impact goes beyond the four lines. His leadership style, his philosophy of play, and his ability to motivate players are attributes that reflect in every aspect of the club. The players not only respect him, but they also feel inspired to give their best, striving for collective achievement. This is what makes Manchester City a true title machine, a team that is not content with being good, but aims for perfection with every new challenge. And of course, Manchester City's fan base plays a crucial role in this success. The unwavering support from the fans has been an additional motivation for the players, especially during tough times. When the team faces adversity, the energy from the fans serves as a reminder of what's at stake and how City represents not just a club, but a symbol of overcoming challenges and success. The interaction between the club and its supporters is something that reflects in every game, with the fans creating a vibrant and passionate atmosphere that drives the players to reach new heights. Regarding the Champions League, which remains the club's main goal for the season, the competition is a battleground where the most powerful teams in Europe fight for the most coveted title in world football. City, with its offensive strength and a squad of world-class players, is one of the favorites, but the margins are always narrow. The upcoming clash with Real Madrid in the round of 16 promises to be a true test for the team. Both teams have history and tradition, and it will be a battle between giants. City must be at their best to ensure that this time they finally capture the Champions League trophy, a feat that has eluded them in previous seasons. Therefore, Manchester City has its full focus on these challenges, whether in national or international competitions. With Guardiola at the helm, confidence in the pursuit of more titles is high. He has the resources, vision, and strategy to continue shaping City into one of the most powerful clubs in the world. Thus, Manchester City continues its journey full of ambition and achievements. With new signings, the return of key players, and a focus on the most important competitions of the season, the club remains firmly on its quest for more titles. The passion of the fans and Pep Guardiola's work, together with the talents of the squad, make City an unbeatable team. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay up to date with everything happening at Manchester City, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and ensures you won't miss any updates. Stay tuned as much more is coming your way. A big hug and see you in the next video.